how they mistreat women. We look at racism, women, how they treat people with disabilities, how poor people. It's not good, right? They don't have that whole love and caring thing. It only comes out when the situation forces them. And
it's all about, okay, then a war says, I hope you bring in LGBTQIA plus practitioners on the ground, individuals who have done their homework. Be mindful about covert or overt homophobic comments.
Can I quickly respond to what
why is it that when somebody doesn't why is it that when somebody has a different view about the LGBT community, they're termed homophobic?
Yeah, and
have a right. Everybody has a right to agree or disagree with something. So throwing words like homophobic, to me, are actually what's problematic about our society right now. Everything we take it to the extreme and hide behind and throwing words. It's like people who use the word narcissist, and like people don't even like you coin terms to paint other people. It's just, as I said, people have different culture. If somebody in their culture don't believe in certain things, accept them as they are.
Yes.
You don't have to start calling them names.
Yes,
in the name of trying to push what you're trying to say.
And I think real quick, I agree with the war. Like it's important for us to bring, like LGBTQ practitioners here, but I think and here's a danger, and I think this is where the same way they want us to listen to them, they also have to listen to other people who do not agree with them. And like throwing those terms like homophobic is what's making people decide, like I'm also, before they talk to us, they don't want to listen to me. So that's what's making people separate.
To be honest, it's not even a matter of agreeing or not agreeing with the community. The thing is, it's just understanding what it's all about.
And then also another quick thing that you're a historian.
Yeah.
If we look at this in a historical context, the Western world has been against LGBTQ for over 1,500 years. Not for the longest, over 1,500 years.
Yeah.
Very recently is when they changed their mind, and then they want to label everyone else in the world. Right now, as we speak, the Democratic Party, like I said, like in the Muslim community, for example, we don't question what the Quran tells us. If I decide I want to drink, I'm not going to come back tomorrow and say, like it's justified to drink if you don't get drunk. The Quran tells us not to get drunk. So right now, the Democratic Party here is facing an issue with the Muslim community on this issue of LGBTQ. Because I think this is one of the last frontiers that the LGBTQ community has not conquered, and that's because it's not because of what I feel or what Muhammad or what Amina feels. It's just because that's what the Quran says, and that's the end of the story. So now the Democratic Party is facing challenges because Muslims are saying, yes, come and tell us your policies, but please do not tell us to go against what the Quran says. Plain and simple. So that they're facing some challenges when it comes to that. The Muslims have been with the Democrats for a very long time. We are now removed from 9/11. There was a lot of fear after 9/11, and that's why the Muslims, stuck there. But now that we are further removed, there's becoming issues, and I think this is a wider discussion that maybe we can have.
These conversations are very important. These conversations are very important. As I've said, the LGBTQ community is very strong, and you people probably need to invite them and to understand more about it. Just like I've put out a case for polygamy, which everybody says everybody talks about polygamy without really understanding what was the rationale behind it and why were people practicing it. I think it's the same thing with the community. It's just a matter of getting them here.
Yes, as long as they don't start calling people homophobes and having choice names for people. Okay. I think that's where we can sit and have a good discussion. Ruth.
And the LGBTQ community is also in Africa. Because you guys are very big on matters that are Afrocentric, it's now in Africa. So it's probably one of the things that you people need to take care of here in this show.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's no longer a Western culture. It's a lot in Kenya. It's a lot in everywhere. You can see the pushback from Uganda. In South Africa, it's legal, And
in
so
Botswana, it's different.
So
there's different stories in Africa, because even in Botswana, I think it's also legal.
So these are conversations that we cannot sweep under the carpet, they need to be heard. Yeah, they need to be heard. We need to come from a point of understanding. That is what I usually say about cultures that we don't, we don't relate to. Try to sit with somebody and understand where these people are coming from. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I want to remind the listeners that you're tuned into the One Mic Show, and I'm your co-host and producer, Ali Badawi. Our guest tonight is Deborah Auko, author of Rough Silk, and she's on the show talking about the book. Signed copies of the book are available for purchase for only $25 via Sendwave or whatever app you use to send money. The number is +254 702 917 813 to Deborah Auko. That number has been pinned in the comments on the Facebook live stream. Remember to send your full autograph names and a shipping address to the same number via WhatsApp. And then for those in the DMV, Deborah is scheduled to have a book signing tomorrow from 2 p.m. at the Consulate Swahili Village in Washington, D.C., 1990 M Street Northwest. That's 1990 M Street Northwest. Availability on Amazon is still to be determined, and we will continue, but make sure you buy the books. These books are limited, and usiseme hukuambiwa na usingoje kusimuliwa. Kesho bado umekosa kitabu, usirudi kukanambia Ali, vipi bana we, mbona kitabu hichi kilikuwa kwa hapa, mbona ukutuambia tukinunue na nini? So buy it right now. There's very limited number of copies left. And you won't regret it. All these nice juicy stories that you're hearing, you'll have all of them. You see me,
there are many.
I already have my
many,
copy.
by the way.
There are very many.
I already have my
5%.
copy here. Yes, I already have my copy here.
I've seen a very interesting question by a lady.
Yes. So you can ask that question, then we're gonna go to sports. We're gonna get a quick update,
That's nice.
like from our young man who's in the studio, and then Mika is gonna talk about sports in Rough Silk, because there was a lot of sports with Deborah's single dad.
So we are going into sports.
Yes. No, actually there's a question first.
Yes.
There was a question. I don't know what question exactly was.
It was from our Joanna report. How did patriarchy play into polygamy?
Oh, it had a very big role in I mean, 80% of polygamy has all to do with patriarchy, and that is the reason why the moment women were empowered, it could not hold anymore, So yeah, in all aspects, basically, if women are not allowed to have a voice, women are all about just breeding, women are all about domestic duties. A woman's place is the kitchen, any administrational decisions in the family have all to do with men. That is all the patriarchy. And so the reason why polygamy, one of the reasons why it could not hold for a long time, is the fact that women got empowered. However, what we're looking at right now, as they've said, is polygamy mamboleo, which means a man has a wife but has like
Another
four
wife.
other side chicks all over the place. It basically rounds up to the same thing, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like I said, this comment was gonna come, and I think I've lost it. Please read Stephen Batty's comment about going to other states. I think I've lost it.
Bona Deborah doesn't do a book tour all over kama like the musicians do. Karibu Dallas, Texas.
Okay, I told you that was gonna come.
You told me that was gonna
By the
come.
way, yes.
So at what, Texas?
Dallas, yeah.
Get yourselves together. If you want
Chezeni kama
Deborah,
nyinyi.
chezeni kama nyinyi. If you want Deborah to come to Texas, how much longer do you have in the US?
Oh, I'm here another 2 weeks.
Another 2 weeks. So you have only 2 weeks. Mjipange. You guys are very
but
good
the
jobs.
books are only for 3 days.
Yeah?
The books are only for 3
And
days.
ndo nasema,
They're
like
gonna go past tonight.
yes, but ndo nasema mjipange. Arrangements can be made.
But I can explain.
Yes.
I can explain.
Yes.
Now,
go ahead.
We started this show by me saying that I'm a self-published author, which means everything that I'm doing from my pocket and from book sales. Anytime you see an author doing a tour in the US, all the states, or even in England or everywhere else, always note that their book has been done by a publisher.